and you had to spit on them and circle them and get them shiny. I was not good at that. And then you had practice, you had some things about fighting hand to hand, and fighting with bayonets, and fighting knives. And are you gonna sit over next to me? So we in the mornings we got up at 4:30 and rushed outside and got in formation, and we did calisthenics for 30 minutes in the freezing cold, because it was cold during that time in Washington, D.C. This was around Washington, D.C. And then we'd go back in and we had to clean the barracks. We cleaned the barracks. We had to go in and clean the urinals, the toilets, and the floors, and make our beds perfect, where you could bounce a nickel on them, and clean our lockers. Each of us had a locker. We had to keep it really clean so that a person who took a white glove could put his hand on it and not get any dust on it. It had to be perfect. And then at a certain time, the DI came back and said, attention. And of course, whenever he came in, we had to jump to attention. We stand in front of our beds, our bunks. They were wire bunks with one single mattress and a blanket on it. And he did inspections. At one point we were given a rifle. We had to keep the rifle clean and learn how to clean one and take it apart in our sleep and put it back together. Because if you're in the field, you don't want it to get muddy, it won't shoot. So you always have to keep cleaning it. And to do that, you have to take it apart and clean every part. So we did that, and then for breakfast, we marched outside for formation, and we marched to the mess hall. We marched in. Now, in regular Marine Corps, when they go in and eat, they have to eat according to how they tell you to eat. They say, take a bite in your spoon, raise it up, put it in your mouth, go back. They did. That's how they ate. Now, once we got in there, we could eat, because we were going to be officers. Once we got in there, we could just eat what we wanted. And they had a big buffet of all kinds of food, steak and chicken, good food. In the morning, of course, was eggs and bacon and potatoes, toast. We had that, and after a certain length of time, they said, all right, everybody outside, back in formation. So back in formation we went. We marched back to the barracks, and then we got ready for our first classes. We had classes that morning. And then at some point in time, one of the classes was an obstacle course, like a ninja obstacle course. You had bars to go over. You had big logs that were up, and they go up higher, and you have to walk up them, way up to where they're way over your head, and you can't fall. And they tested to see how fast you were, and I was pretty fast. And so we did that, and then also usually in the afternoon we had running. Most of the men marched as they ran. They marched in formation. But because I was a cross-country runner and I could outrun anybody, they made me stretcher bearer, which means I ran behind all the men and I pulled up the stragglers, the people that couldn't endure it. They got too tired. They'd never been running in their life. They were not very physically fit. So I had it pretty easily, just lagging behind them and bringing up the rear, making sure nobody got behind me. There's two of us, I think, that were stretcher bearers in the back. And then we might have had some more class. We had to lunch, marched to lunch, and then back to the barracks. Did something, or back to classes, I guess. Had more classes, and then back to dinner. We marched to dinner, and sometimes at night they would call us all out at midnight In formation, everybody, get up. We're sleeping, you know, and it's freezing, snowing outside. And we're in a t-shirt, kind of, maybe a shirt, no coats. And they say, all right, out in formation. All right, we're going to walk up to the top of that hill and have a class. So we walk in formation all the way up to the top of the hill. And we're freezing. Now of course for us, we're tightly in formation. We only got the wind hitting us from one side because we had people on the other sides of us. And then I used to remember the guy that was the coldest was the captain of the class. He was standing out there, the same things we were standing in, freezing cold, giving a class with nobody to block the wind on him. He was amazing. And then we come back, march back, get in our beds, and go to sleep until the next morning. And we did this for 10 weeks, and different types of classes, compass reading, and all kinds of classes. We had punji stick training, fighting, different classes for fighting with punji sticks and bayonets and things like that. And then they had a leadership course where they divided it into 5 men, and they ran you for 2 miles. And when you came back, you're in a stockade, and the people around are evaluating you, and they give you an assignment to do something. And nobody's ever heard of what they want you to do. They want you to, there's one log, and they want you to get over this big deal and get to the other side. And I usually took control of that, and I got my team over that log, over that bar every time, and I got perfect leadership scores. So I graduated of the 30 men in my platoon. I graduated 5th in my class. They thought I was pretty good. So then after we graduated, we got to be a lieutenant. We were just privates when we were doing that, because we got selected, the ones that passed, to be officers. These ones that didn't become officers went to basic school down in Quantico, Virginia, down in Paris Island, were enlisted. To be enlisted, they had to go through that poor old enlisted training, which was horrible. And I got to